two systems model of ruling Hong Kong has worked in protecting the city and must continue long term, says President Xi. The Chinese leader mounted a stern defence of the political system in a speech in Hong Kong following recent international criticism. Hong Kong is marking 25 years since Britain returned the territory to China. And joining me now to talk about all of this is Benedict Rogers, who's the co-founder of Hong Kong Watch, and Nathan Law, who is a Hong Kong activist and former member of the Legislative Council, now exiled here in London. Thank you both very much for joining me. I'll go to you first, Benedict, and ask you what your reaction is to President Xi's comments today.
Well, my reaction is that it's completely at odds with the truth and with reality. In fact, it's the exact opposite. What he has done has been to completely tear up one country, two systems, to tear up the promises made under the Sino-British Joint Declaration, to tear up Hong Kong's freedoms and autonomy. And Hong Kong basically is one country, two systems in name still, but in reality, it's under the direct rule of Beijing.
And Nathan, given your background and what you've had to do to protect yourself, I would assume that you'd very strongly agree with that.
Yes, definitely. One country, two system for now is a lie. It was supposed to give Hong Kong the promises of democracy, autonomy and freedom. But for now, what we've seen is large amounts of political campaigners are in jail. Public rally are impossible to host now. And also civil society is being cracked down. Our independent unions, news outlets, and all sorts of political organizations are forced to disband. So to conclude, for now, 25 years of one country, two system is just giving an opportunity China to direct rule in Hong Kong and destroy our way of life.
And in terms of our viewers and listeners, I think they'd be very interested to hear again about the law that was passed recently that only patriots, in inverted commas, can stand for election in Hong Kong's territory. Just explain that to our viewers and listeners, if you don't mind, Nathan.
Beijing introduced a new concept of comprehensive jurisdiction in Hong Kong, which it entails several parts. One of them is an election overhaul that only patriots, quote unquote, can run in legislative council election, and the candidates has to be vetted by political police, which means that the pro-democracy camp has no room for meaningful participation. And for now, our city's leader, chief executive, is basically being selected by an election committee only composed by Beijing loyalists. So for now, there's no democratic elements in any of our election system. And Hong Kong people are basically being betrayed.